We used to hold a simple, comforting, and deeply rooted belief that if an advanced extraterrestrial intelligence, ETI, ever successfully contacted us, it would be initiated with a friendly greeting, perhaps a universally recognizable mathematical sequence, or a prime number cipher meticulously meant to establish a common language based on universal physics principles. We were fundamentally naive. The universe, it turns out, does not waste time sending greetings or pleasantries. It sends audits. And the deep, vast silence we have fearfully awaited for so long has just been violently broken by a sound that is ultimately far more terrifying and complex than the mere static of the void. Before we fully dive headfirst into the abyss of what has just been urgently received, I need you to stop whatever you are currently doing. Go to the comment section immediately and deliberately type your city name. Tell me honestly, have you personally noticed the sky looking markedly different lately? Are there strange, unusual luminescences or seemingly innocuous satellites moving in patterns that openly defy known orbital mechanics? NASA and various prestigious global observatories are quietly and rapidly aggregating this critical atmospheric data, and we urgently need to pinpoint precisely where these unsettling phenomena are being visually recorded. Do it now, please. My name is Michio Kaku, and what I am about to share with you may fundamentally and irrevocably change the way you perceive humanity's true place in the enormous watching universe. For decades, I have spoken openly about the distinct and high probability of genuine contact. I have theorized extensively about Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3 civilizations, hypothetical societies capable of strategically harnessing the total power of entire planets, stars, and even complete galaxies, respectively. We, as a current Type 0 civilization, are barely out of the planetary cradle in cosmic terms. We are, to use a stark analogy, like ants diligently building a small hill on the shoulder of a 10-lane superhighway, the arrival of 3I Atlas. When 3I Atlas was first officially and scientifically detected, it was initially misclassified as a mere space anomaly. It entered our solar system on a highly hyperbolic trajectory, moving too fast to be a common comet, yet maintaining a course that was too precise and controlled to be a random asteroid. Crucially, it accelerated without any visible engine thrust and meticulously corrected its course multiple times. We knew then, in the quiet, utterly panicked meeting rooms of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, that this was decidedly not a rock. It was a sophisticated probe, a silent sentinel, an advanced scout. And 3 months ago, as many of you are already aware, it emitted its very first highly anticipated signal. That initial transmission was, ironically, exactly what we expected. It was a focused burst of high-frequency radiation containing fundamental physical constants, the mass of a proton, the ratio of pi, and the detailed structure of the hydrogen atom. It felt like a cordial handshake, a preliminary test of our collective intelligence. The world understandably celebrated prematurely. We believed in our human hubris that we had finally joined the Galactic Club, but we catastrophically misunderstood the true nature of the test. That wasn't a handshake, it was a calibration ping. It was the autonomous machine checking to see if the biological hardware of humanity on this planet was technically compatible with its advanced scanning software. The collective human celebration was tragically premature because 72 hours ago, 3I Atlas sent an unprecedented second transmission. This signal was not directed at our typical radio telescopes. It wasn't broadcast conventionally on the universal hydrogen line. Instead, it was a tight beam, highly directed energy burst aimed specifically at our global digital infrastructure.
Or a prime number cipher.
The audit, a list of names, it cleanly pierced our ionosphere and intensely interacted with our complex data networks in a novel way that physicists are still desperately struggling to comprehend. And when the cryptographers at the NSA and the European Space Agency, ESA, finally began the difficult process of parsing the raw data, the mood in the room shifted instantly from excited anticipation to absolute, paralyzing cold horror. The second transmission did not contain complex math or star maps. It contained long, continuous data strings that looked remarkably, terrifyingly familiar. It contained
honestly,
names.
have you
At
personally
first, the
noticed
weary
the sky
scientists
looking
thought it was merely a
different?
catastrophic
Are there
glitch,
strange,
a reflection
unusual
of our own
luminescences or
terrestrial
seemingly
radio
innocuous
leakage
satellites
violently
emitting patterns
bouncing
that
back
openly
at us.
defy known
But the
physics?
sophisticated error correction
NASA
codes
and various
meticulously
prestigious
embedded in the
global
alien
observatories
signal
quietly
were
and
far
rapidly
too
aggregated
complex and
critical
robust for that
atmospheric
kind
data.
of simple explanation.
urgently need
This was
to pinpoint
definitively
precisely
intentional.
where these
The signal
unsettling
contained a
phenomena
list,
visually
a massive, continuously scrolling, highly encoded list
My
of
name is
human
Michio Kaku, and what
identifiers,
I'm
not
about
just
to share
names
with
written
you
in English, Mandarin, or
fundamentally
Spanish,
and
but highly
irrevocably
specific
change the way we
biometric
perceive
markers,
humanity,
unique
place,
genetic
and the
sequences,
watching
and
universe.
individual digital
For
footprints.
decades, I have spoken
This is the
openly
single
about the
part that
distinct and high
consistently
probability
keeps
of
me
genuine
awake at night.
contact.
This is the
I've theorized
staggering
extensively
discovery
about
that
type
makes
1,
me
type 2,
relentlessly
and type 3
question the very nature
hypothetical
of our
societies
established
capable of
reality and our
strategically
individual
harnessing the total power of
consciousness.
entire
The
planets,
specific
stars,
names on the
and
list
even
were
complete
definitively
galaxies,
not
respectively.
random. They weren't just
We
world
and the
leaders or
current Type
famously
0
celebrated
civilization
scientists.
are
They
barely out
included
of the
ordinary
planetary
farmers
cradle
in
of
rural
cosmic
India,
science. We are to
dedicated
use a
school
stark
teachers in
analogy
Ohio,
like ants
software
diligently building a
engineers in
small hill on
Tokyo,
the shoulder of a
innocent
10-meter
children,
superexercise.
and the elderly.
The arrival
Why
of
would a
3i
highly
Atlas
advanced galactic civilization
was first
care
officially
deeply
and
about the
scientifically
specific
detected.
identity of a
It was
grocer in
initially
London?
classified as a
The
near
zoo
space
hypothesis,
anomaly. It
reimagined,
entered our
to
solar
fully
system
grasp
on a
this
highly
concept,
hyperbolic
we must
trajectory,
force ourselves
moving
to
too
look at
fast
this
for the
through the
atomic
lens of
bomb,
physics and
maintaining
advanced
a course that
information
was too
theory.
precise and
We
controlled
often
beyond
discuss the
NASA.
zoo hypothesis, the
Crucially,
idea that
it accelerated
aliens are
without
watching
any
us
visible
passively
engine
like
thrust,
animals in a
meticulously
nature
correcting
preserve.
its course
But that
multiple
implies a
times.
benign, passive
then in the
observation.
quiet, utterly
What
panicked
3i
meeting
Atlas
room
is
of
doing is
Jetson
fiercely
Laboratories in
active.
Seattle,
It is
was decidedly not a
cataloging.
rock.
Imagine you are a theoretical biologist
silent
meticulously
sentinel,
studying a
advanced
species
scout.
that is
3
rapidly
months
about
ago,
to go
many of you are
extinct,
already
or
aware,
perhaps a species that is
admitted its very
poised to
first
undergo a
highly
radical,
anticipated
highly dangerous mutation.
initial
What is your
transmission was
scientific
ironically
action? You tag them,
exactly
you
what we
record
expected.
them,
It
you
was a focused
meticulously
burst of
take
high-frequency
samples, you
radiation
create a
containing
robust
fundamental
database of the entire population
massive
before the
proton,
inevitable
the
event
ratio of
occurs.
pi,
The inclusion of
detailed
specific
structure of
names and
hydrogen
detailed biological data
like a
forcefully
cordial
suggests that
handshake,
3i
preliminary
Atlas
test
has
of our
active
collective
access to our most private
world
information
understandably
networks.
celebrated
It
prematurely.
implies that for years,
believed in
perhaps
our
even
human
decades,
hubris that we
this
had
probe
finally
or others
become
like it
galactic
has
blood.
been quietly non-stop listening to our
catastrophically
internet
misunderstood
traffic,
the true
our
nature
private
of
phone
that.
calls, and
It
our
wasn't a
comprehensive
handshake.
medical
It was a
records.
calibration
We
test.
blindly assumed the great
autonomous
silence
machine
meant
checking
no
to
one
see
was
if the
listening at
biological
all.
hardware of
But it
humanity
turns
on
out
this
the
planet
entire
is
galaxy has been
compatible
listening to
with
everything.
advanced scanning
Every
software.
text message,
collective
every
human
digital financial
celebration was
transaction,
tragically
and every
premature.
social media
Because
upload.
72
We have
hours
been
ago,
tirelessly
3i
and
Atlas sent an
unknowingly
unprecedented
feeding a
second
cosmic
transmission.
algorithm that we
This
didn't
signal
even know
was not directed
existed.
at our typical
This
radio
deeply
telescope.
concerning
It used to hold
reality
a simple,
brings us
comforting,
to the most
undiluted
unsettling
belief
theoretical
that an advanced
interpretation
extraterrestrial
regarding the
intelligence,
second
ETI,
transmission.
ever successfully
In theoretical
contacted us,
physics, we
it would be
frequently
initiated
discuss
with
the
a friendly
critical
greeting,
concept
perhaps
of
a universally
information
recognizable
conservation.
mathematical symbol, or
Information,
a prime
much
number
like
cipher,
fundamental energy,
meticulously
cannot
meant to
theoretically be
establish a common
destroyed,
language
or
based
so
on
we
universal
desperately
physics
hope.
principles.
If a Type 3
We were
civilization has
fundamentally
truly mastered the physics
The
of
universe, it
consciousness,
turns out,
they might
does
not
not
view
waste
us as
time
mere
sending
biological
greetings or
bodies. They might
sends
chillingly
audience.
view us as data
deep,
sets,
vast
complex,
silence
self-replicating
we've fearfully awaited for so
information
long
patterns.
has just
The
been
final
violently
countdown.
broken by a sound
If they
that
are
is ultimately far
aggressively
more
transmitting these
terrifying and
names,
complex
it
than
is
mere
plausible
static
they are not
echo.
just saying, "I see you." They
Before
might
we
actually
fully
be
dive
saying,
headfirst into
"I
the
have
depths of
you."
what has just
Consider
been
the
urgently
complex
received,
concept of the
I need you to
galactic
stop
quarantine.
whatever
We
you
have
are
long
currently doing.
speculated that
Go to the
humanity is
comment
being
section
quarantined because of our
and
inherent
type
volatile
your name.
tendencies. We have successfully
honestly,
split the
have you
atom
personally
not to
noticed
create
the sky
limitless
looking
clean
markedly
energy,
different lately?
but specifically
Are there
to build
strange,
devastating
unusual
weapons.
luminescences
What if the
or
names
seemingly
contained in the
innocuous
transmission
satellites
are not a
emitting
list of
patterns that
invitees,
defy
but a
known
complete
physics?
list of the infected?
NASA
The complex
and
data
various
packets
prestigious
associated
global
with each name were
observatories
accompanied by a
quietly and rapidly
multi-dimensional
aggregating
geometric
critical
key.
atmospheric data.
My highly specialized
We
colleagues in
urgently
string
need to
theory
pinpoint
believe this
precisely
key
where these
represents a
unsettling
precise
phenomena
coordinate
are
system not in physical space, but in time and probability.
My name is
3i
Michio Kaku,
Atlas
and
is
what
not
I'm
just
about to share
analyzing
with
who
you
we currently
are
are,
fundamentally
it is diligently
irrevocable
calculating what we will become. This is the point where the immense power of artificial intelligence decisively meets cosmic evolution. It is highly likely that 3I Atlas is an autonomous AI probe sent by a civilization that successfully passed this critical threshold millions of years ago. But there is a much darker interpretation. In the 3I Atlas transmission, there was a specific specific subset of data that repeated itself in a tight loop. It corresponded precisely to the date of the current transmission, immediately followed by a countdown, a distinct temporal decay function. If our current mathematics are indeed correct, the countdown definitively ends in less than 5 years. When you combine a vast list of unique names with a clear countdown, the entire context changes drastically. It feels less like a census and far more like an archive, a cosmic doomsday book. Preservation or judgment? Is 3i Atlas actually saving us? If you knew a massive library was imminently about to burn down, you would immediately scan the valuable books and digitize the critical knowledge. The horrifying yet awe-inspiring possibility is that the names on that growing list are currently being backed up. But backed up from what impending threat? It might perceive a massive gamma-ray burst we haven't even detected yet, or most likely it might perceive our own inevitable self-destruction. The transmission is still currently ongoing. The list of names is relentlessly getting longer. Every passing hour, more data is being powerfully streamed from the probe back toward the constellation Lyra, the exact same direction from which the mysterious WOW signal originated decades ago. We used to nervously ask, are we alone? The clear, definitive answer is a deafening no. But the new question is far more urgent. Are we safe? I look at the data pouring in from NASA, and I see absolute fear in the eyes of the researchers. The people who are currently on the list consistently score highest on psychological tests of empathy, creativity, and abstract reasoning. This implies a chilling and profound act of universal judgment. Are we a cancer to be permanently quarantined, or a potential child to be adopted into the larger cosmic family? We are no longer the unilateral masters of our own fate. We are subjects in a grand cosmic experiment, and the results are currently being transmitted back to the home civilization at the speed of light. I want to leave you with one final, crushing thought that haunts me every moment. If the list is truly a backup archive and the countdown is unequivocally real, what happens to those of us who are not on the list? What happens to the physical world when the digital archive is complete? The universe is not silent anymore. It is screaming out in data, and for the first time in our long history, it is calling us by name. I will be monitoring the incoming data streams continuously. Follow this channel as we continue the desperate process of decoding the universe's final warnings.